Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the NECA action figure of the Emissary Predator #1 from the Predator. Here's just a look at the inside of the packaging, so you can see a little photo inside. And there you go. This is the first of two Emissary Predators. There is a Emissary Predator #2 coming out somewhat soon, which is the same body with just a different skin color paint scheme. I think it's a little more tan. Now, if you're wondering what the hell is an Emissary Predator, Emissary Predators were part of the Predator. They were part of filming and they were cut out of the movie. There is lots of photographic documentation of this on the internet, especially during production. We saw photos of this. I can't help but wonder if NECA started developing these while the film was in production, and then like once they were cut, they're like, well, whatever, we made them, so we might as well release them. Either that or they just are super hardcore about making any Predator figure they can and just know that people like me will eat it up. Because it is a fun bit of Predator lore to acknowledge that, well, these things were designed, they were filmed, they just didn't make it in the final cut, but they existed. And I think it's rad. Like, it's ridiculous. If you don't know, there was, the idea was that there were like good Predators that were living on Earth that were like commanded by Edward James Olmos. And they helped out the loonies in the last act of the film, and they have like USA tactical gear. And the sculpt on this gear is pretty good. And the contrast of like where it meets the skin and like the skin paint and like the wetness of the skin is pretty good. It's actually fun to see like a Predator not wearing like sexy fishnets for once. And the work on all this tactical gear looks pretty good. The camo looks good, but the surface of like all the pouches and the straps look good, especially when you get to the chest area and the crotch area. All this stuff like on the belt, the little pouches on the back. But look at the wrinkled wet skin back there. Same thing with the arms, not just the back. Here's a look at the back. And I really dig the color scheme on this. I actually really think this Predator's quite pretty. Here's just a closer look at the head. So you can see some of the more vibrant purple coloring. The open mouth looks good. The paint on the mandibles and the inside of the mouth is quite good. I like the ridge of the head and the dark purple shading where it starts to lighten into kind of a pink. Such a cool looking design. And the little like metal scuffing on the chest is pretty good too. Articulation is worth discussing. It's pretty good right out of the box. As far as like, I just reviewed the Assassin Predator and had a lot of limitations. This, the arms, the chest, the legs in particular, the double knee joints, all really, really strong. Just this left shoulder is really tight. Right shoulder isn't, but the left one is. And now one thing worth noting is that the gauntlet on the right arm appears to be the same sculpt as the gauntlet that was used for the Fugitive Predator. Same sculpt, just different paint job. You can see there's a little bit more like black and gold painted in there. And also, it comes with an alternate head, and that head appears to be the same kind of mask that the Fugitive Predator rocks, at least the basic design of it. However, this one's a little bit more matted, a little bit lighter gray. This one's darker. Some of like the details within those little lines right between the eyes and the forehead are a little more well defined. Some of the paint details a little more well defined. One of the things I kind of felt about the Fugitive Predator was that it was developed during production to get it out in the release of the movie, and it isn't the best representation as far as like detail. It's kind of a simple figure compared to some of the other things. This figure, I feel like they had more time to work on it maybe, because it just has better details on just like little nooks and crannies as far as the paint on the helmet and the gauntlet goes. Now as far as accessories, we do get this big rat-a-tat-a-tat-a gun. Someone in the comments can tell me what this actually is, but the design of it, the little tiny details, the sculpt of it is really, really great. I like the little bullet pouch on the side. Hopefully no one cringed at me calling it a bullet pouch. Alternate pair of hands. We have the fist hands, look really, really good. And then we have a grip hand and a trigger finger hand, so that's nifty. Alright, I switched out the head for the masthead and put on the grip hands, and they really do work out great when it comes to gripping the gun. And the articulation makes getting him into these kind of basic poses really, really easy. You have to lean him forward a little bit, but you can tilt the head up to get a pretty good angle. And yeah, I'm going to try to raise the gun a bit, and then we get Well, man, it's just ridiculous looking at like a Predator in like Earth gear, but it's so ridiculous. I love it. I really do. But I'm a sucker for anything Predator. What a fun, weird figure. Shane Black made a weird movie and cut out some really weird stuff, and I think this is such a fun figure for NECA to make. As a fan of Predator, I am very pleased with this. I really am. I've seen it retail for about 28 bucks. You know, 25 to 28 bucks. I'll throw a link in the description below if you're interested in ordering this. Man, I really like that. Thanks for watching, everybody. I like it. And if you want, you can follow me on social media stuffs. Here are the links.